Welcome to Rise with Ramy, the podcast, where I'll be here chatting to you all things shift work, grief, mindset, and my health journey curing endometriosis naturally. You can expect laughs, probably some dark humor, random accents, and a whole lot of swearing. In today's episode, I am honestly just going to be telling you all about me and my journey, and who I am. Apologies if you can hear my pug in the background. He's always going off at people walking past. I just leave him in my bedroom and he's guarding me in this house. All right, let's get into it. I am so excited to finally have my own podcast. I have been sleeping on this idea since March last year when I launched my business. I always knew I wanted to have a podcast. Here I am. So hello everyone, welcome. My name is Ramy. You can call me Ramy. I am a mindset coach and a breathwork facilitator. I am a coach and practitioner in neurolinguistic programming, emotional change technique, and hypnosis. I also work full-time in shift work. I am 29, living in Melbourne, Victoria. I've got two sisters, so an older sister and a younger sister. So yes, that does make me the middle child. And yes, middle child syndrome does exist. I have a gorgeous mother, and unfortunately my dad passed away back in 2019. I have a beautiful and incredible supportive partner. All right, where do I even start? Oh my God. So from my earliest memories, I honestly started life struggling with body image. It was one of the worst things I think I'd battled with for a long time. And I went to an all-girls school, which for me at that time was probably the worst thing because I always believed that I was the chubby kid. And I don't know if any of you girls and boys who are listening to this who can resonate, but I felt that in my friendship group, I was always the one that was a little extra curvy or a little extra chubby, had that extra fat, was unfit, and always identified myself as that. And I didn't know how to eat well. I didn't know how to train at the gym. And for a really, really long time, I was just known as, even in my family, they always would, God, it's going to sound horrible, but they always could rely on me to go and eat the leftovers because I was always that person that would just go and eat, like constantly fucking eating. I'm that person now, but I have a much better relationship with food and my body. So growing up, all girls school, yeah, that was probably my number one first problem that I experienced in life. All right, fast forward a little bit longer, and when I turned 18, my parents went through a pretty shitty divorce. I was also in year 12, so that definitely impacted my ability to, I guess, just enjoy being in year 12, which I don't know who actually enjoys being in year 12. I honestly fucking hated school and I hated uni. Still went anyway, had no choice. I'm half Sri Lankan, half Lebanese, so I had a very, very strict dad who everything in his life revolved around my sisters and I just doing really well in school and getting good jobs and yada, yada, yada. You weren't allowed to have a boyfriend. So to add to the sort of things like that I've experienced growing up, like coming from such a culturally diverse household. So mum's Lebanese Muslim, dad was Sri Lankan Hindu, like it was very diverse. And I must say, we were very blessed with food, we were very blessed with traditions and culture. Like as an adult now, I look back and think like, fuck yeah, we are so lucky growing up. Like, whew, the food, man, like slay, absolute best. Unfortunately, they got divorced. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was, year 12. So that would have been 2013. Not gonna lie, a little messy, pretty shitty, to be honest. However, no courts involved. It didn't get too messy to a point where they needed to be shit in writing. You know what I mean? It was kind of just like, we're gonna stay with mum. She lived closer to where we went to school, and dad wanted to live a little bit further. And it was just a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more complicated to live with him. Even though me and him really got along, like that's what I probably struggled with a lot in year 12 is like me and him really, really got along, and to see them separate and almost like not really getting the chance to live with him. He was also a shift worker, so he would do a week of day shifts and then a week of night shifts. So it was kind of like even staying there on night shift, he would sleep all day. Like it was just, I guess it didn't make sense to live there full time. So lived with Mama Bear, my sisters and I, and yeah, I guess adapting to that was really interesting. It was really weird going through a divorce, I guess, as like an 18-year-old and like adapting to this new lifestyle of like visiting dad whenever you wanted, because I was 18, I had a car, so it's not like I was forced to have to go. And then like even just like living at mum's full time, I guess that just became home, and then dad just sort of became like the visiting ground, I guess is probably the best way to put it. A few years later, so 2019, unfortunately, he passed away in his sleep. So quite literally went to sleep and did not wake up. Definitely the most traumatizing experience for my family and I. And wowee, did that fucking change my whole world, my whole perception on everyone and everything, my perception of time and my perception of reality. Everything got so distorted and I just fully changed. I was forced to have to live a life without dad, and it was very painful. It was very hard at the start. I was very angry. I was such an angry person. Like, if you knew me then versus now, completely fucking different. Like, yes, it was 5 years ago, and of course, like, his death, it, like I said, just completely fucking life-changing. And we had, unfortunately, a lot of family drama after that. I lost friends, lost family members. People just get fucking weird after someone dies. I don't know. Like, I get there's no rule book when it comes to grief, and it's just like, I'll touch on grief in other episodes, but it was just fucking wild, man. Anyway, so yeah, my whole perception of life changed, and I guess that's sort of what kickstarted the personal development journey a little bit, like not too fully, because I was really stuck in a victim mentality, honestly, for quite some time. I really hated the fucking world. I hated people who still had a dad. I really struggled to connect with people who had strained relationships with their parents, because my mind was very much like, well, I would do anything to have my fucking dad. Like, why are people not having relationships with theirs who are alive? You know, it was a really weird and dark time. And yeah, I sat in my shit for quite some time, and yeah, I truly let that affect some friendships, some relationships, and I really never got down to the bottom of dealing with his death. And I remember seeing a counselor like a few weeks later, and I remember just sitting there being like, lady, you've got no idea who he is. You've got no idea about my life. I can't be fucked explaining this to you. Like, I was just not in the mindset to talk to a stranger about dad. So I literally gave counseling one session and I was like, fuck this, I hate it. So I gave that up, tried buying mindset books and tried listening to meditations, and I was like, yeah, okay. Like, it just wasn't enough, I guess. And then I got into a relationship for 2 years with my ex, who is actually my current boyfriend now. So that'll be a whole other episode talking about breakups. But God, I have so much to teach you guys and tell you guys. I'm so excited. I truly have been through so much that I feel like this is why I've been itching to start this podcast, because I'm like, there's only so much I can share on my Instagram, but at least on this, I can just yap and talk and you guys can truly just hear everything. So anyway, dated my boyfriend for a couple years and we had a pretty drastic breakup last year. So, oh no, sorry, year before. We're in 2025 now. Anyway, so May 2023, a very drastic breakup. Like, it just, in my eyes, and his too, he would agree, it really just came out of nowhere. It was just one of those ones where the argument just blew up and it was over. Like, it was over before we could just fucking blink. Like, we both, yeah, just could not see eye to eye, and it was done. That was it. And I, yes, had felt heartbreak when dad died. However, wow, the heartbreak I experienced with this breakup was something fucking different. Like, I was about to live with this guy. I imagined marrying this guy. I imagined having his babies. And like, obviously I'm very lucky we're back together and we're fucking happier than ever. However, at that time, I was fucked. It was almost like all that anger and pain from losing dad had come back. And that's when I realized, like, fuck, I have not dealt with dad's death as much as I would have liked to, or could have, or should have, because all of that pain of another man leaving me like my partner at the time was coming up from dad leaving me. I guess like that's how I connected the two. And it was fucking full on. Like such a difference, like someone leaving this earth versus someone breaking up with you, because that person who's got like broken up with you is still alive. So it's like, you know, you can still talk to them, you know, you can still call them. Like it's so different. And that's what I think I really struggled with, knowing I could communicate with them, but I wasn't supposed to because we weren't together anymore. Like my brain couldn't fathom the fucking fact that we'd broken up. Like what? Like I programmed my mind to have a future with him. Like all those programs were there. And then all of a sudden I had to like rewrite those. And I was like, huh? Like what? Anyway, so I dealt with that breakup very emotionally. Like looking back, I was fucking full on and so grateful for the people who were in my circle during that time, because fuck me, did they have to deal with me just constantly crying and complaining and just going in fucking circles, and literally like felt like I was banging my head against the wall. And like every time I told someone we broke up, they were shocked. Like it was one of those relationships where everyone was like, they're gonna get married, that's it, you know what I mean? So like when we broke up, it just didn't make sense to people, and that was the hardest bit, like telling people we broke up and their reactions like, what, no way, blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, like don't know if anyone can relate to that, but it's fucking even more exhausting when it's in shock, when people are in shock. Anyway, so that breakup truly set me on this journey of growth, of self-development, of healing, of truly growing the fuck up. Like that breakup was exactly what I needed to become a fucking adult. Even though I was 27 when we broke up, like it's almost like I was a fucking child leading up to then, because when we broke up, I was like, holy shit, like I have not been alone in a really long time. Like I never imagined I was going to be alone, so I never fucking prepared for that. Yeah. So that's when I tried even more of the meditating, more of the journaling. I literally took myself on solo trips. Shit I'd never done before. Like my best friend has a house in Phillip Island, and I told her, I was like, can I have the keys for like 3 nights? Because I need to get the fuck out of my house. And like to, I guess, to go and heal, to go and cry. And it was one of the best things I ever did. And I was like, I'm going to do counseling. This time around, I'm going to fucking stick to it and I'm going to see how it goes. And wow, that counseling was probably the best decision I ever made, because I just needed an outsider to hear me. I needed someone who didn't know me and didn't know my partner at the time to truly give me proper advice. Because people are always kind of biased, right? When you go through a breakup, like friends are going to tell you what you want to hear, or family are going to tell you what you want to hear, or they're going to tell you shit that you don't want to hear, like fuck him and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, that's not helping, you know? Like whoever's going through a breakup, or if you're friends with someone who's going through a breakup, like belittling the other person or trashing the other person, like it doesn't fucking help. Like actually listen to your mate who's going through the breakup and help them actually analyze their feelings. Yeah? That's my advice there. Anyway, there'll be a whole breakup segment. Again, did the counseling, and honestly, I was fucking killing it. Finished my counseling sessions, I was smashing the gym, and then it got to December 2023, and I was like, okay, now that I've like fully accepted the fact that I'm single, everything else started to change as well, I guess, like with my work. So like I said, I'm a full-time shift worker, and shit was changing in my mind. I was kind of like, I don't think I want to do shift work anymore. Like, I'm not sure. And it was scaring me because this role is something that I thought I was going to do forever. I literally was like, yep, I've joined. It took me ages to get in. It's taken a lot of training. There's so many opportunities in this job. I'm just going to fucking do it. And when December came, 2023, and I was having those feelings of like, oh, is this everything? Like, is this it? I was like, fuck, I need some help. And I was kind of like, I don't think I need counseling. I need something more. And that's when I came across a mindset coach, shout out to Ramy Queen, who helped me change my entire fucking trajectory of my life. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. We were literally on the phone for like 2 fucking hours because it took her a whole hour to convince me to put the financial deposit on there, because I used to have this belief that I wasn't worth like a couple $1,000s or a few $1,000s into a mentoring program. And I was very skeptical back then. I'm someone who thinks. Like I think a lot, and I need all the fucking details about everything before I sign up. And that's how I was anyway. So we worked together like 8 or so weeks, and it was fucking life-changing, guys. I can't even explain how much I learned about myself, about other people, about the world, about reality. Like, that's when she taught me about neurolinguistic programming. And because of her, I went and did my NLP course in the Gold Coast, and that's where I got all my certifications. And that is also the place where I healed endometriosis. So I forgot to mention, I got diagnosed back in 2018 with endometriosis, told it'll never go away unless I have a baby, go on fucking X amount of pills, go in the marina, go have a surgery. I did all the fucking things, and NLP was the place where I got off the pill, and it was the place where I healed the endo. Changed my life, realizing how much emotions play a major role in health conditions. Let me repeat myself. Emotions play a huge role in health conditions. Okay? And this is another reason why I created this podcast, because this is a whole subject that I cannot wait to teach you guys about healing yourself through healing your emotions. So came out of NLP in March, came out getting off the pill, which I'd been on the pill for almost 10 years, came out with no endometriosis, started a fucking business, slay. Rise with Ramy. So I created the Instagram account November 2023 just for fun. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good. I've got my mentor. I want to influence people. I want to help them feel good. I want them to feel positive because I've been through all these fucking things in my life. I want to show people that if I can do it, so can they. And through working with my mentor, through doing NLP, that's when I decided, I was like, fuck it. I am doing this for real. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't care what people think. Like, people made fun of me when I first made the account. People had no idea what the hell I was doing. And neither did I, quite frankly, no idea. And I was like, fuck it, what have I got to lose? What's the worst case scenario, right? So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. And it was the best thing I ever fucking did. The best thing I ever did was launch this business. And then in August, I went and got my Breathwork certificate. And honestly, so much has happened for me since March last year because I decided so. I decided to make changes in my life, no matter what I've gone through, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a dad who's passed away, whether it's a breakup. Oh, forgot to mention, guys, I told you there is so much I got to talk to you guys about. I got to wrap this up though because it's nearly 20 minutes and I don't want to do really long episodes. I want them to be like 10 to 20 minutes max. My pet bird of 20 and 21 years, he passed away. It'll actually be 2 years ago this month. He was my best fucking friend. Best friend ever. Literally. He passed away. And that was another version of heartbreak that I experienced. Losing a fucking pet, guys. A whole other version of heartbreak. My goodness. Anyway. So, goodness. That's kind of what's brought me to here. All of these things has led me to where I am now. And this is why I started the podcast. This is why I mentor people, because I know that there's another side. I know that there's a light at the end of a dark tunnel. I know that you can get through anything because I have. I have gone through some fucking tough shit in my life, and what's gotten me through it is resilience. Literally resilience. Pushing through, working on my mindset, having people in my corner who actually care about me, who genuinely give a fuck about me. That is so important. Not giving a fuck about people pleasing, not caring about what people think, and looking after myself, no matter what that looks like. Literally, that's it. The key to getting through everything and anything in life is resilience. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for listening to my first episode. I am so excited. It would mean the absolute world to me if you could like and subscribe to my podcast, and please rate it. If you want to share it on Instagram, please do, and tag me at Rise with Ramy and I will share it. I absolutely love connecting with people. Another reason why I created this podcast, to connect with you guys. And I am so excited to bring to you the next episode. Love you all and thank you so much.